Let's start by defining the security. What is security? So when I say computer security or information security, we have already seen that under the term computer, when we said assets of computer, we have covered a lots and lots of things under these assets, right, in the previous lecture. Few assets are related with hardware, some assets are related with software, some assets are related with data or information, right? So computer security actually covers data and information security as well, hardware security, software security, all the security which are related with communication links and underlying network, right? So network security, web security, communication link security, etc. So when I say computer security, I mean to say all these things we have to secure. Okay. But the question here is, what is security then? Okay. We can correlate that somehow system or computer covers all the assets which are associated with a computer. But what do we mean by security per se? Okay. You might have heard, people having a very attractive taglines saying that we offer the most secure solutions on the market. We offer the most secure software. This is the most secure solution for your problem, etc., etc. Okay. So when we read these sentences, one question came into our mind about the term secure. What do we mean by secure? What actually secure mean? Right? What is security? So see, formally defining security is a bit complex thing, and there are many proposed definitions, which are related with security. So let's delve deeper into what do we mean when we say computer security in general. Okay, so we define computer security as, preventing attackers from achieving some objectives. Now, what are these objectives that we will discuss in a minute, right? But just assume that objectives are certain things that we need to have in our system, or we need to have these objectives adhere to the assets of our computer, right? So assuming these objectives, what do we mean by computer security? Computer security is preventing attackers from achieving these objectives, okay, through unauthorized access. So when I call attackers actually means there is some unauthorized access or unauthorized term involved, right? But explicitly, we can mention that unauthorized access of the things, unauthorized use of computers, unauthorized use of networks, unauthorized access or use of data or information, etc., comes under. So if when we say we have to prevent, all these things, we are actually dealing with computer security, right? Now there is this definition from NIST, okay, that was given in 2013, and this is quite a good definition which actually explore few important objectives that we need to attain in our system, right? The definition says that computer security is actually dealt with measures and controls, right, that ensures three important things: confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information system assets. Okay, and you all know that assets include hardware, software, firmware, information that has been processed, stored, communicated, etc. Right. So basically, when we take some measures, when we have some sort of control units to ensure these three main objectives or key objectives that are related with security, that is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, so let me explain these three terms in a bit more detail to you. Right. So Confidentiality actually dealt with the disclosure of information, right? So whenever there is an unauthorized disclosure of information, we say confidentiality is breached. Okay, so if I mean, the loss of confidentiality is actually unauthorized disclosure of information. Okay, so confidentiality is an objective that we need to achieve when we talk about computer security or information security, right? We can somehow define these terms into two related concepts. One is data confidentiality. Okay, data confidentiality deals with assurance of some private information or some confidential information, uh, of not making it available or disclosed to any unauthorized individual, right? So when we say data confidentiality, the system need to assure that the private information or sensitive information or confidential information should not be made public or should not be made available to the unauthorized users or to the unauthorized entities which are there. Okay. There is another important concept which is related with confidentiality, and that is known as privacy. So somehow privacy can also be considered as confidentiality, but it is the confidentiality of an individual person. Okay, so in privacy, what we need to do is we have to assure that the individual is having the control of the information that is related to that particular individual. Okay, so I am the individual. I am having certain information that is related to me, or that can uniquely identify me as a person, or whatever information that is somehow my personal thing, my private thing, right? So somehow we need to assure, or the system need to assure, that the individual should have proper control on all the information that is related to the individual, how that information is collected, how that information is stored, by whom this information is collected, by whom the information is stored, and to whom the information may be disclosed. Okay, so all those things comes under privacy. Okay, and definitely, so privacy is also related with confidentiality. So if I say there is a privacy breach, it means somehow there is a loss of confidentiality in the system. Okay. Can you give me any example of privacy breach? Yes, or any privacy settings that you have came across, where you as an individual can decide that which which who are the people who can actually have a look at the information that you have shared, or you as an individual has a control of the information that is related to you. Any example?
Ma'am, passwords of every social media accounts.
Password is something you don't want to share with anyone actually, right?
Right, ma'am.
Yeah.
So we tend to keep it private to ourselves.
Okay, so a slight difference between secret and private. Okay, this is something which is secret. Okay, nobody else except you should know the password. So this is called secrecy, secret information. By private, what I mean to say is, for example, my photos. Okay, or something, my views I post on some social media site. Okay, I don't want that these posts should be made public, or anyone who is having some that social media account can view this particular post or this picture of mine. I only want to limit that. Are you getting the point?
Yes, ma'am.
I only want that a certain group of people, a certain set of people that is decided by me can view this particular information. So you might have seen a setting saying that only friends can see this particular picture, or only friends can send a request of something in some. So when I say privacy is a subjective thing, some people may make it public, some people may make it that only direct friends can see that, some people can say that okay, friends of friends can also see that information. So there are different variants. Are you getting the point?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, I got it.
Yeah, and as an individual you can decide what with whom you want to share the information. Okay, and this is called privacy. A person, if with his consent, the social media account is making his information public, then also it can be considered under confidentiality, because the individual has the right on what information about me should be shared. Okay. So yes, this is a little bit about confidentiality. Now let's talk about integrity. Okay. Again, in integrity, there are two important terms or concepts that you need to know. In general, integrity deals with the, somehow modification, maintaining the modification. Okay, so preventing unauthorized modification of the information, right? So as this is dealt with disclosure, somehow it has to do something with deception. We have seen in the classes of threats, deception and disruption are few classes of threats that actually may lead to attack. Okay, so the loss of integrity may cause deception, loss of integrity may cause disruption. Okay, and there are two main concepts that we can cover under integrity. The first one is data integrity. Okay, data integrity assures that the information or the program are changed only in a specified manner. They can be changed only by the authorized person. Okay, so if I am the owner of a particular file, only I have the right to change or make modification in the file, or the set of the people to whom I have given the right to, make the additions can do that. Rest of the, rest of the people can only maybe see that information, but they are not able to maybe, do the modification. Okay, so whenever we dealt with integrity related with data, we call it as data integrity. There is another important concept which is somehow not mentioned in the slide, which is called system integrity. Okay, system integrity. What do we mean by system integrity? It assures that a system performs in intended function. Okay, so whatever function was intended to perform, it will do the same function in the similar manner. In somehow there should not be any deliberate or unauthorized manipulation of the functions which are there. So if you remember that we have learned that in disruption, somehow some component of the system will be disabled, or some sort of things will be there. Okay, so therefore I said that loss of integrity can be called as deception or disruption of the services. So yes, these are the two important terms, data integrity and system integrity, which actually comprises the objectives which we need to prevent from the attackers. Okay, we have to maintain data integrity, we also need to maintain system integrity. Okay, there is another concept under this, origin integrity. So some people keep it under integrity and some people consider it as authentication. Okay, so I will going to explain you authentication. I will take this point there. Okay, the third objective is availability. So availability is related with availability of the service or availability of the data or availability of the resources. So whenever an authorized person would like to access something, it should be, or the resources or the data or the system should be available for use. Okay, so somehow we can call it as disruption. If there is a loss of availability, maybe disruption may be caused, right? So Yeah, these are the three objectives that somehow we need to maintain when we talk about security. Okay, so these are the security related concerns. Any question in this? Okay, I hope not. So now let me tell you, another slightly modified explanation of these three terms: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. All these definitions are as per the FIPS standard. Okay, FIPS. So this is actually a federal government standard of United States. They considered so these standards are actually called FIPS 199, and these standards are considered as mandatory security standards, right? So these three things are the mandatory things to achieve. Okay, no matter which standard you are following, no matter what you need to secure. So whenever there is a term security, definitely confidentiality, integrity, and availability will come into play. Okay, so here confidentiality, they say preserving authorized restriction on information access and disclosure. Okay, so there are restrictions who can access the information and to whom the information should be disclosed. Okay, so when we say preserving this authorized restriction, we call it as confidentiality. Okay, and definitely as we have seen earlier, that this information also include protection of personal information, private information, or proprietary information. Okay, maybe there is a song, there is an article, there is something, a blog, which is wrote by you. Okay, which is your proprietary thing. You have the right to preserve the confidentiality of that, right? Then comes integrity. So integrity is nothing but guarding against improper information modification. Okay, there should not be improper information modification. So when we have proper security mechanism in place, which will not allow any kind of information modification in an unauthorized way, we call it as integrity. It also dealt with the destruction, including ensuring information non-repudiation and authenticity, right? So non-repudiation, authenticity, we will, in a minute, we will just have a look at all these terms as well, which actually comes under integrity. Then we have availability, which says that the timely and reliable access of the services, timely and reliable use of the information, access of the information should be there. If a system follows it, we call it as availability, right? So what do you mean by a loss of confidentiality? What do we mean by that? If I say confidentiality is lost, there is a confidentiality breach. What do we mean by that?
Ma'am, it means that unauthorized users are able to access your information.
Yes, they are able to access. Okay, so that word is important. Access or disclosure, unauthorized disclosure will be there. When I say there is a loss of integrity, what does it mean?
The unauthorized users are able to um, change the information or modify
Yes.
it.
Yes. So the term modification or maybe destruction of the information is also, kind of a modification. Okay. So if it is there, then we will say the integrity is lost. Okay. And what do we mean by availability is lost? So when there is a disruption of information, only with this disruption. Okay, either the file is deleted or the service is, hampered or something like that. You are not able to get that particular entity is not available for use. Okay, then we say availability is lost.
Ma'am, can we say that suppose an unauthorized user sending multiple requests to client
Mhm.
server due to which the server is not able to respond even to the authorized user. So it
Yes,
will be the loss of availability.
availability. That is very true actually. That is very correct. Okay. So you might have heard of denial of service attack, right? So it is nothing but somehow availability breach in the system. Okay, the server is not able to serve the authorized user due to some unauthorized, uh, events going on around. Okay, any other question? All right. Now, there are few standards which actually considered authenticity and accountability as well. So if you remember from the previous slide, there are, as per the FIPS standard, under integrity, authenticity is also considered. Okay, but some standards keep it separate, but it is not a big issue. Somehow authenticity is also an important security concern that we need to look into. Okay, now what do we mean by authenticity, right? So authenticity is the property of being genuine and being able to be verified or being able to be trusted. Okay, so if in your system there are certain mechanisms which can, you know validate your identity or validate, whatever thing that you are dealing with, maybe validate the data or things like that, then we will say that authenticity is maintained. Okay, so somehow, uh, you know so we say that the property of being genuine and being able to verify with some confidence. Okay, so we should have the confidence in the validity, maybe of a transmission of the data in a particular message that we have received, or in a particular originator of the message, that yes, he is the one who is sending the message. Okay, so if there are some means to verify that the users are actually who they actually claim they are actually they. Okay, so in that case we will say that authenticity is maintained. Am I making sense here? Right, so if you open a Facebook page, then if we have the mechanism to say that yes, this particular web page is coming from Facebook server only. If we receive a mail with a particular ID, if there is a mechanism which can verify that yes, this particular email is sent from this particular ID, I mean the same ID which it claims to be. Okay, there is no fake IDs or something like that. So in that case, we will say authenticity is maintained. Okay, so it requires some sort of confidence in the validity of transmission, message originator, etc. Okay, so if you remember, there is a term called origin integrity. Okay, so somehow it is related with authenticity as well. Okay, if we can verify the identity of the origin of the source of information. Okay, there is no impersonate who is sending the information or things like that, right? Okay, so now let's come to another term, which is accountability. So this particular security goal generates the requirement for action of an entity to be traced uniquely. Okay, so actually the goal of accountability is to make a person accountable for a particular action. Okay, if there is some event happened, there should be one person who has to be made accountable, right? For example, a mail has been sent, then who is the person who has sent this mail? So somehow if we can uniquely trace a particular entity, a particular system or a particular organization or a particular country, etc., okay, then we say that accountability is there. Okay, now with accountability there are lots and lots of good things that come into picture, and actually accountability is required to achieve other security goals. Okay, so now let me explain you few other goals. The first one is non-repudiation. Earlier, if you remember, I told you that there is a threat called repudiation. I can deny from the action that I have performed. right? So for example, I have sent a mail and then later on I may deny that no, I have not sent this such mail. Okay, because maybe I will delete it from my sent box and I will say, no, see, just have a look at my sent box. I have not never sent this particular message. Okay, so now if we have accountability, in place, then your email ID can be uniquely traced and make responsible for that action. Okay, and this is called non-repudiation. Are you getting the point? Yes. Am I audible? Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. All right. Right. Then there is another attack called the trance, in which somehow there could be a phone call, okay, and somebody is blackmailing a person and doing such things. Then also if we have the mechanism to trace that phone number, to trace that particular person who is actually making the calls, then definitely it will help us, right, in many legal actions as well. With accountability, we have false isolation. We can achieve fault isolation as well. Suppose there is a huge network around and there is some fault. If we have accountability in place, we can somehow isolate the particular network from which the fault is generated, and we can isolate it so that rest of the network can work properly, right? So for achieving fault isolation, accountability is useful. And anyways, fault isolation is required to actually, correct the fault as well. Okay, we need to know from which system this fault is generated, etc. Then intrusion detection, some intruder comes into your system and open the back door. If we can identify the exact program which is responsible for this, we can definitely somehow take some action to prevent it, right? So intrusion detection and prevention is, yes, quite important, and this can be done only if we have accountability in place. Similarly, if you want to take after action recovery, any kind of legal action, okay, it is very important to trace back the culprit. Okay, so if we say truly secure system are not yet an achievable goal, at least what we can do, we can able to trace the security breach to a responsible party. That is doable, right? Achieving 100% secure system is not achievable, but at least make a entity responsible for the security breach can be achieved. Okay, and that can be done by accountability. Okay, so if just for your knowledge, like for example, when you download any app from say Google Play Store, there is some information which is related with that app, which says who is the developer of the app. There is an app signature, okay, which are associated with each app. So one particular developer may develop 10 different apps. Okay, but if something has happened to a particular app, Google can make that person responsible for this act. Okay, so system must keep these records, maybe for the future analysis, okay, to trace back the security breaches which are there. Okay, any question? Two important things. We have our assets, right, and we have our objectives. Let's have a look how each objective is related with a particular asset. Okay, so when I say availability, and one asset is hardware. So how availability can be achieved in hardware, or what do availability mean in case of hardware? So suppose equipment is stolen or it is disabled. I mean hardware equipment. Okay, so I'm talking about maybe the laptop has been stolen, the mobile phone has been stolen, the hard disk has been crashed. Okay, so something happens so that we are not able to access the hardware resources. Okay, then it is called availability breach. Okay, with respect to hardware. Confidentiality means you are having some hardware, maybe you are having CD-ROM, DVD, pen drive, few things where the data is in the unencrypted form. Okay, so why I am telling unencrypted? Because confidentiality deal with the disclosure of data. Okay, if the data is not disclosed in the exact form, then we will say confidentiality is not breached, right? So if you get a PDF file, but you are not able to open that file because there is a, suppose a security password to open the file, it is not the breach of confidentiality because the access of data is not given to you, right? Although the file has been stolen or taken. About the software thing, okay. So suppose if the program has been deleted, okay, or it is not make available for the user to access, right? So for example, you want to open your word processor, but it is not, you are not able to open because maybe, you know, some sort of attack has been happened on that, okay? Then it is not available in the exact form, then we called it as availability is breached in with respect to software. Okay. When can we say that confidentiality has been breached? Yes, many of the people are using pirated version of one or the other software. Okay, it is nothing but somehow confidentiality breach with respect to software. Okay, then when can we say integrity breach in software? So when a working program is modified, either to cause it to fail during execution or to cause it to do some unintended task. Now there are two things involved. Either there is a disruption, entire disruption. The when you open the program, it will fail. It cannot do the uh, targeted work, or there are some unintended task which is going on. Okay, you are open an game application, but in the background that game application is sending some of your photos, you know, to some server. So in that case, we will say there is a loss of integrity because they are not doing what they are actually you know, what we desire them to do. So there is a difference between the two, and hence we call it as loss of integrity. Let's discuss the third asset, that is data. Okay, so definitely data is quite uh, simple to think. Data availability means the files or the databases or the folders or whatever things you have in your system that actually holds the data is accessible, then we say it is available. Otherwise, if it is deleted or corrupted or something happened, we will say it is not available. Okay. Confidentiality in data means unauthorized read of the data is performed. Okay, and this is again a subtle point to have a look at. Analysis of statistical data reveals underlying data. This is also a confidentiality breach. Okay, so for example, you know, maybe you just have the access of web browser cookies, and by doing some statistical analysis on that, you can identify the characteristic of a person or preferences of a person. Okay, so direct data is not given or leaked or disclosed, but there is some statistical study which can be done on the data, which can reveal the actual data or the characteristics of the data. Okay, it is also considered as confidentiality breach. There is an integrity breach with respect to data, where we say that the files are modified, they are fabricated, or maybe some data in that file has been modified. Okay, so it deals with integrity of the data. Now, when we have communication lines and networks, and we say availability of these lines and network, so we means that the message which is going on in the in the channel has been destroyed or deleted. Okay, so there is a disruption going on, right? The message is actually not gone to the designated place. Okay, it is not gone to the designated receiver. then we say that there is a availability issues with the communication lines or network. Okay, even if the network is not available at all, then also we can say that there is a availability issues, right? And this also might happen a lot many times, right? Confidentiality means message which are in transit, the packets which are in transit could be read, okay, or maybe some information which is crucial information has been revealed, okay, by some intruder or some man in the middle person. Integrity with respect to all these things, we will say that if the message is modified, so we have seen few attacks in the previous lectures where the packets has been modified, the information which are in transit has been modified, right? So then we say that there is a integrity breach in communication lines or networks, right? So is it clear? Any question in this?
Ma'am, can loss of integrity, ma'am, can a mistake, but with a very good intention, be called loss of integrity?
So if there is a loss of integrity, suppose, okay, so it could be intended or unintended. Okay, if it is intended, then we generally term it as a threat. If it is unintended, then we termed it as a bug in the system or error in the system. In both
Okay,
the
ma'am.
cases, we have to rectify it.
Okay, ma'am. So then, if it is unintended, then it means that it is still it is a loss of integrity, right?
Yes, because it is still a threat, right? An attack could happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So yes. So this is I have talked about the famous three or the key three important objectives. Now let me tell you a few more security concerns that are related. The first one is accountability. We have discussed a little bit about accountability. So in this particular goal, the main requirement is to generate or to trace back a particular unique entity which is responsible for the action about which we are talking. Okay, so make a person uniquely responsible for a particular action is called accountability. There is also one term called reliability. Okay, so reliability is also considered as a security concern, and the reason is, we have this disruption threat. One threat of class is disruption, and reliability is something to do with the disruption. So reliability ensures that the specific piece of function or the specific function should be worked for a specific interval without failure. Okay, so suppose I need a particular server to maybe for some form submission or something like that. Okay, so suppose there is a paper deadline till 5 p.m. Okay, I want to make sure that during the time when when the authorized users submit their paper, okay, maybe it is a span of 15 days, at least for 15 days the system should run without any failure. Okay, and then we can say the system is reliable. So reliability, we will take all the measures to make the piece of equipment perform as intended for a specific interval of time, okay, without any failure. Authentication. Authentication, again, it is the ability to determine the statement, policies, permissions issued by a system or person or any entity are genuine. Those who are giving this statement or performing some action, they are the actual person or actual entities who they are claiming. Okay? So it is related with authenticity, to maintain the authenticity of the maybe the message or the function or the whatever source, authenticity of the source, authenticity of the receiver, etc. Okay. Then another important term which is called authorization. Okay? So suppose you are authenticated by a particular system and you are now inside the system. Here comes the role of authorization. Maybe you are not allowed to do each and everything which the system can perform. You are allowed to access a particular set of functions which are provided by the system. Okay, and here comes the authorization. It is somehow related with the access control mechanism, particularly. Okay, and you might have remember, the attack usurpation, and this attack is nothing but the escalation of privileges which are assigned to you. So authorization deals with this attack. And what we do in this actually, so a simple example is you have your MIS with you, right? As a student, you can log into your MIS system. So that process is called authentication, which make sure that yes, you are the person who are allowed to access the system. Maybe a student from some other college is not able to access the system, right? But once you are authenticated and you are inside the system, you are not authorized to do each and every thing inside the system. Okay, there are few functionalities which are for you, and here comes the role of authorization. If there is a breach in authorization, then privilege escalation will be there, and definitely it will lead to some threat and will, eventually lead to some sort of attack. Okay, so this is again a security concern. Then non-repudiation. So it is the assurance that someone cannot deny the validity of something. If I am receiving a message, I cannot deny that I have not received the message. So in system, there should be proper mechanism in place, okay, which can follow or which can validate, this the occurrence of the event is happened from this particular thing. Okay, this is called non-repudiation. Definitely, there is a term called privacy, although we have discussed it under a confidentiality domain. But yes, privacy is something, it is the right to have some control over how your personal information is collected, how your personal information has been stored, how your personal information has been shared, and how it is used. Okay, so these four things are associated with privacy, and as an individual you have full control on defining how the information which is related to me can be collected, stored, shared, or used. Okay, any violation in that will lead to privacy violation. There is another security concern called anonymity, right? And it is the property that certain records or transactions not to be attributable to any individual, right? So if you remember, we have seen one threat and attack, which is called correlation and traceback. Okay. In that, I have given you the example that suppose there is a data set of COVID-19, all the Indians who have COVID-19, in particular year, that database is having lots and lots of information of an individual. And if that data set has been publicly available, then anyone can actually identify an individual. So individual can be attributable. Okay, with the help of attributes, we can identify that this is the person about whom the information is all about, right? So anonymity is, if you cannot do that, okay, this is called anonymity, right? And we have seen data anonymization techniques, which people try to remove the attributes that can uniquely identify an individual, and this is called anonymization. All right. So yes, so these are few security concerns